Today, I have with me Mitch Carson. Mitch is a celebrated professional speaker and closer who has spoken on stages in 63 countries and produced over 2,000 live events in 19 countries. He's been on the Home Shopping Network as a pitchman who knows how to sell anything and craft a unique message around any product, person, or event. He's also a published author with John Wiley and Sons and books, and published with the books published in 6 languages. So, Mitch, thank you very much for being on the show today.
Great to be here, Greg, and it's great value to your listeners and viewers.
It definitely is something that everybody needs, is to become more well known out there. So, what really inspired you to start your company, and what are the main services that it offers?
I've been an event producer for a number of years. And one of the things I found after being a professional speaker for the last 40 years is there are subject matter experts. There are business owners that may know their business very well, yet if they're not built up, if they can't peacock their feathers to be known and to be different, they're going to be an ordinary pigeon. And to grow and add all these feathers to your plume, so you can stand out. And how do you do that? By writing books, by getting covered on podcasts, by getting covered on TV shows, network television, network radio shows, being in newspapers. We also revere people who've been covered in Forbes, Entrepreneur Press. The list goes on. But the people that have more credentials to them tend to be more successful, make more money, and have a better life in terms of being respected, admired, and accomplishment.
That's true. We all need to stand out. If you want people to notice you, you've got to stand out in your field. Otherwise, you'll just be, part of the talk, and
Ordinary.
Yeah, just be ordinary. Exactly. So I know there's other people that do things like you. So what makes you different in your space? How do you stand out?
Well, publicists, I work largely today as a publicist, guaranteeing people network television and doing it all, getting them on 4 days and a radio show, craft message, helping them with their questions that they are going to be asked on a live show. So they are on point, they're excellent, they speak in perfect sound bites, the host finds them interesting, and the audience is interested in what they're selling and or offering to the marketplace. So I do this in a 2-day format versus months and months and months of extracting money from you on a contract basis. They pay me a fee, which is nominal compared to what they would pay a full-blown publicist house, a PR agency, and I deliver it all in 2 days.
Wow, that's pretty quick. So you're going out there and you're helping them on all these different sites. I see that you got your listing there, Fox, CW, NBC, ABC. So you're putting people right on those shows itself, not in some obscure city somewhere, but really just right on the shows themselves.
Yeah. From Singapore, Toronto, Canada, and throughout the United States. And one of them have come from Las Vegas. So it's not about being locally profiled. It's about using that media to justify who you are as an expert in your market. Even people that may own a franchise, we can cover them, package them, so when they go back, they can use that media to then get into their local market if they don't have an expert, if they don't have media experience, because a show producer needs to know that you're not going to freeze when that light comes on and says on air.
Yeah, that would be kind of a bad thing. That wouldn't show you in a very good light, for sure. So what about social media sites? Are there any that are essential to be branded on, or do you strictly do the TV?
Well, social media sites that are critical would be LinkedIn, and I believe it is important. Well, social media needs to match the market. LinkedIn is the professional network for speakers and authors. They need to have that, as well as a YouTube channel if you're a speaker and author. If you're a franchise business owner, I think you need a Facebook page, probably an Instagram page. Depending on the age of your demographic, you may need TikTok. Dancing is optional, Greg. So if you want to do the ticky-talk shake, yeah, I mean, that's certainly an optional way to market yourself. You don't want to see me dance. I don't know. I have about 4 left feet, not just 2. So I think social media depends on the market. What do you think?
I think you're right there. I mean, if you're going for somebody that's kind of in the older crowded generation, you're probably not going to be hitting up TikTok too much. But then if you're into dancing and that sort of thing, I'm not too sure. I've seen too many dancers on LinkedIn doing their LinkedIn dance on there.
No, that's yeah, but for a speaker, which is some of your demographic, for an author, absolutely LinkedIn and YouTube and Facebook would probably be the number. Maybe Instagram as well, but TikTok I think tends to lean towards the younger generation, depending on who's listening and watching you.
That's true. For my author friends out there who go a little bit younger, then yeah, TikTok would be just absolutely perfect for them. And I have quite a few of those out there as well on that. So how do you build and maintain a strong personal brand as a speaker?
I can't hear you.
Sorry, how do you maintain and build a strong personal brand as a speaker?
Well, you've got to regularly upload content on YouTube. I would say weekly would be there, as well as populate it. Use that same content to upload to your LinkedIn channel. You also need to just to be out there. And then today it's all about the shorts that are important to be covered.
Oh, okay. Not only
and
the
to
full,
speak,
yeah,
speak regularly, get on podcasts. Yeah.
there you go. So how do you build relationships with the journalists and the media professionals?
By following them, commenting on them. They're human beings at the end of the day, Greg.
Mm-hmm.
They are people that wash their clothes, they watch Netflix, they do the things, and if you share similar hobbies to them, comment on their posts. Take a screenshot of their post, send it an email, say, I especially like this, and highlight it. Is it a little bit of butt kissing? You betcha. But they're humans. People respond to attaboys and attagirls. So pretend to be involved. What are your thoughts on that?
You really do. I mean, if you just throw yourself at somebody and say, here, put me on your show, and they don't know who you are, then no, you're not going to get anywhere. You really have to interact with people, because people want to help out others that they know that have helped out them as well. So it's really an interactive type thing out there. You can't just blast out messages to people and say, hey, I want to be on your podcast. You got to really interact and say, I've seen your podcast. I think that it's really great. And, you know, here's my thoughts on that. And then it's back and forth. After you build up that relationship, I think then people are more willing to help each other out and help build each other up on that.
Right. Okay.
I know that's gone a long ways with what I've done as well. As you know, I put people on my podcast, people have put me on their podcast, and then we stay in touch and we interact, see how we can help each other out on that.
Yes.
So you mentioned a media kit that you have in there. What is the media kit? How does that play a role in getting booked on major media?
It majorly matters because you have to be on point. First of all, strong headshot. Got to be presentable in their pre-marketing. So when they bring you up and show or give a preview to your segment, they got to have that with your LinkedIn, and possibly if you have any B-roll, and what your topics are in a concise manner, open-ended questions that the host can ask you, not dissimilar to what was required for me to be a guest on your show. The difference between a podcast is you aren't capped by a limit of time much of the time. I mean, these are usually 20 to 30 minutes. Sometimes they go longer. A TV interview is 2.5 to 4 minutes.
Quick and to the point. You got to be precise.
Yeah.
On that one.
Yeah.
So what are the key traits of a highly successful professional speaker?
Engaging, I would say. Have a great opener and an even better close with a call to action as to what is next.
Good. Now, it sounds like you work with many different people. Do you have an ideal client or is it just about anybody that needs to get noticed?
Well, typically I work with speakers,
Mhm.
authors, CEOs, and people who want to grow their perceived value in the marketplace. If they're an employee at XYZ company, probably not a good fit. But
Gotcha.
if you own the maid service, then that might be a good fit. If you're the CEO, it's not, I don't cater to the employee or someone that's talking about personal, they've overcome their stress and they want to share about it with the world. You've got to be the top dog in your industry, or perceived, if you have to have that perception of being the top dog.
That makes sense. Yeah, you'd want to be something that stands out, have your own business where you want people to come to you and you're going to help them. Helping others is the way to go on that. Now, you've spoken on stages in 63 countries. Do you know 63 different languages, or are they just everybody understands English?
Of course not. I
Yeah.
speak Spanish as a second language. Most of these countries, well, all of them I've spoken in English. I did do some Spanish interviews in South America, but that is not my strength. I'm fluent, but not bilingual. So I certainly can speak Spanish. The other countries, I would have translators if they didn't speak English. Yes.
Gotcha. What kind of live events were you doing over there in the other countries?
Mostly for the small business market, catering to people who ran their businesses, much like your market, people who are interested in potentially investing in a franchise, maybe transitioning out of a job, of a career, or sitting on a lump of cash, and they want to know what to do next. How do I get a book published? How do I then use that to create a course? How do I then go into retirement comfortably, to where in some cases people say buying a franchise is like buying yourself a job? May or may not be. That's a matter of perception, but it's also a way to transition into something where you are your own boss.
Makes sense. So now you've been on the Home Shopping Network as a pitchman. That's quite fascinating. What did you do there as a pitchman on the Home Shopping Network?
Well, I was a pitchman on the Home Shopping Network from 96 through 98, and I used to sell other people's products, and vendors would come in and have me go and represent it for them on TV via demonstration and getting call-ins from the audience, testimonials, and you're evaluated in that arena by the minute, by the second it comes in. And you need to be on point and crafting something unique around that product, benefits driven, on the adage of features tell, benefits sell.
Did you have to come up with all that yourself, or did you have somebody do that for you?
I did most of it myself. I would maybe look at the sheet of information, but I had to be comfortable with how I would craft the benefits, the takeaways, so the people in the audience can see themselves consuming it, buying it, using it, and possibly using it and buying a reorder, because a reorder is the ultimate proof that your concept works or product. It's all about the reorder. A customer is possibly a one-time deal. A client is repetitive and becomes third level a raving fan.
This is true. Yeah. When I buy things over and over again, I'm a fan, and yeah, it's like I stick with that product and then that company. Excellent. Well, is there anything I should have asked you that I didn't ask you yet, Mitch?
I would just say, see yourself in the position where you want to be and take the necessary steps of where you want to go and make it happen. And sometimes these are baby steps, one at a time, moving forward. And I think it's taking action is key. I talked about tactical, but the most important aspect of an entrepreneur, in my opinion, of being in this space a long time myself, I've largely worked for myself. Corporate America was a brief stint in my life. But the people who truly succeed and win at the game of life, because it is a short game. I mean, I think we're about the same age roughly, and probably could share some of our earnings and learnings over the years. Is it's a mindset shift that has to happen. And if you're aligned with where you want to go, your heart tells you it's good. And if you feel you're spiritually in that right path, if that applies or not, I'm talking to the spiritual and the people who may practice an organized religion or not, doesn't matter. Being true to yourself and executing on this matters, because at the end of the game, end of the day, at the time when we're looking back, did we achieve what we intended, or was it just a dream that was never acted on? So I think acting on these dreams and forcing it through discomfort, because fear, some would say, is false evidence appearing real. I have a different spin on it. The acronym is face everything and rise. Go through, execute on, implement, or go through your courage. What is the definition of courage? It's focusing on what your end goal is, doing it even if it's uncomfortable, and recognizing you've achieved this. And I think that's so important for the entrepreneur. Even people that are, for example, using your service, finding them the right franchise. There's going to be fear here in between the gray matter. Oh my gosh, can I do this like the other McDonald's people or the Subway shop or whatever it is that is appropriate after you've taken them through the process, finding them the right franchise? This is no different. I think a lot of your coaching, Greg, has to do with mindset. You can do this, Mr. Smith. Mrs. Smith, this will take you to where you're going to have more time to spend with your grandkids, at the same time having a safe income. Creating the atmosphere of belief and acting on it where you perceive yourself, believe it, and set up very specific, achievable goals to get there will allow your success to become a reality, and your dreams become a reality.
Very well
That's
put,
my
Mitch.
thought.
Yeah, very well put, Mitch. Exactly right. Fear is
Yeah.
one of the biggest things my people are dealing with on that one. Yeah, hit a nail on the head there. Hey, where can people find you if they want some more information or want to use you?
Yeah, if they're interested in getting on television in Las Vegas, the way to get in touch with me is set up a consult. I do this straight for listeners. Is getinterviewguaranteed.com, getinterviewguaranteed.com/meet with Mitch. Getinterviewguaranteed.com/meet with Mitch, MITCH.
And I'll put that in the show notes for us. Great. Mitch,
Okay.
thank you very much for being on today.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.